So we're here talking about the differences between JSON and XML, first and foremost, and why JSON is kind of leading edge on communication between the client side and the server side computers, um, and what are some good websites or resources for open data sets. So let's first of all talk about what JSON, like why is JSON more often used and why it's more prevalent. To really understand that, we need to know what it's used for and what are the languages being used and why are they being used. So first of all, what it's used for, JSON is a intermediary language, it's same with XML, between the client's computer and the server. And it is a way for the browser to communicate to the server, asking for specific information or to input data from the browser to the server for record keeping or for queries or for whatever. That is the need for this, since the server side programming languages are like C# or .NET, whereas browser-based like HTML, PHP, JavaScript, these are in Java. These do not necessarily communicate very well back and forth to each other, and we have to have an intermediary language. Actually, no, Java is a server-based. Sorry, is a server-based language. So JSON and XML are languages that act as that intermediary. XML uses a tag system, very similar to HTML. So those who are very familiar with HTML, HTML5 would want to use XML because it is a very similar vein of programming, versus JSON, which is very similar to Java, which is very similar to JavaScript. Interestingly enough, the persons that created Java did not create JavaScript. JavaScript was created after, but it was created after to model Java, and it's a curly bracket language. Still don't know what that means, curly bracket language, but it's a thing. So that's what the languages are, like what it was there for to do. So as one might expect, XML is very much like HTML, and JSON is very much like JavaScript. So those people who have different flavors of programming will want to use the corresponding languages that they're more familiar with. For instance, I code a lot in JavaScript. I'll probably want to use more JSON than XML because I'm not that familiar with HTML. Currently, no one's really winning the war on like which one's going to win, which one's going to be more used for applications, which one's going to be dying out. And the reason for this is they have their very unique attributes, and they have very unique key sets. Currently, JSON is being used in more applications than XML, but where XML has what people use XML for, they're very much solidified with using XML. It's becoming the standard, so that's not going to change anytime soon. The other change here is that with JSON, since it's very similar to JavaScript, it's very object-oriented in its nature. It looks very object-oriented. It feels like an object. So for all intents and purposes, it feels like the person who wants to do JavaScript or Java will be using JSON. And since that's the language that's more commonly used right now, that's the one that's winning. So the last bit of this assignment is talking about data sets, and there's this great website called freecodecamp.org, and it has this great list of data sets that we can use. Like the World Bank Open Data and the World Health Organization has Open Repository, Google Public Data Explorer, and Registry of Open Data on AWS. There's just a lot of these different things, resources that are available. Like Fivethirtyeight, that data-driven journalist site that runs statistical analysis, that's an open-ended open data source. So that's a good way to use JSON, because like a lot of these are programmed using JSON or Java, and you can pull that information much easier with JSON to pull that data. Anyways, that's the end of my video.